This revenge story contains intense acts of retribution that may be excessive and could be disturbing to some viewers.
The living room felt too empty, shadows spilling across the hardwood floor of our suburban Chicago home. I paced back and forth, my boots scraping the wood, phone clutched tight in my sweaty hand. Nanette was late hours late. No text, no call, just silence eating away at me. I'm Robert, 32, an engineer pulling in $750,000 a year, designing cul-de-sacs and futures for families that don't look like ours. Nanette's 28, my wife of 4 years, the stay-at-home type who used to brighten every corner of this place. Now, it's 10:17 p.m., and I'm staring at a blank screen. The clock ticked. Loud. Too loud. Each second hammered into my head. I dialed her number again straight to voicemail. "Hey, it's me. Just checking in. Call me." My voice broke a little and I grimaced. That was the third call tonight. Nothing. I dropped onto the couch, dragging a hand through my hair. Maybe her phone died. Maybe traffic snarled. Maybe she's with a friend, like she mentioned this morning. Heading out for a bit, she'd said, keys rattling in her hand. Casual. Too casual. The silence pressed down hard. The fridge hummed faintly in the kitchen. Streetlights buzzed outside, slicing jagged lines across the wall through the blinds. I glanced at the Mantelier Lake Michigan photo, her hair whipping in the wind, both of us laughing. That was before. Before the pregnancy test turned positive, before the miscarriage tore through us. She'd been so quiet since then, pulling away when I tried to hold her. I thought it was the grief. It hit me hard too, but she wouldn't talk about it, just said she needed time. Maybe that's why she was out so late tonight. Maybe she needed a friend to lean on. Still, I couldn't shake the worry. What if she wasn't okay? What if she was hurting more than she let on? The front door creaked open. I jumped up, heart slamming against my ribs. Nanette stumbled in, purse slung over her shoulder, hair a mess like she'd been tugging at it. She flashed a smile too wide, too stiff. "Sorry, babe," she said, dropping her bag on the couch. "Phone died. Didn't realize. Ran into an old high school friend downtown. Time just got away from me." I nodded, but my gut twisted. "You could have borrowed a phone. I was worried sick." My voice came out sharper than I meant. She brushed it off with a wave. "Oh, you know how it is. Catching up's a time trap." She kicked off her sneakers and shuffled toward the kitchen. "Tea? I'm making some." "Sure," I muttered, following her. Her steps were quick, almost jittery. She wouldn't meet my eyes, just fussed with the kettle. "Who's this friend?" I asked, leaning against the counter, arms crossed. "Just some guy from back in the day. You wouldn't know him?" She shrugged, water sloshing into the kettle. "Old stories, nothing special." "I called you a few times," I said, keeping my tone low. "Straight to voicemail every time." "Yeah, phone's dead. Told you." She didn't look up, just ripped open a tea bag with quick fingers. "It's charging now." I stepped closer, softening my voice. "You okay? You've been off lately." Since I hesitated, the word missed sticking in my throat. "I just worry about you, Nan. You're out late, not answering. I don't know if you're all right." She finally looked at me, her eyes flickering with something. Was it guilt? "I'm fine, Rob. Really. Just a long day." She handed me a mug, her fingers grazing mine too brief, too cool. Later, she was asleep. I wasn't. Her phone glowed on the coffee table, plugged in and charging. My pulse thudded in my ears. I shouldn't check it, I knew that. But my hand moved anyway. Her passcode, her birthday, unlocked it. WhatsApp popped up. "Text me when you're home," some guy named James had written. "Just got here. Hubby's suspicious as hell," she'd replied. My breath froze. I scrolled, each message cutting deeper. The pregnancy, the miscarriage, they'd faked it all. For my money. Rage flared, icy and sharp. I grabbed my phone. "Matt, It's me. I need your help. The bedroom was dead quiet, the kind of silence that makes every little noise me pulse pounding in my ears. The faint buzz of the nightlight glowing over Nanette's sleeping face feel like a damn freight train. She looked calm, breathing soft and steady, like she hadn't just blown my whole world to pieces. My hands shook as I gripped her phone, the screen still warm from her touch. WhatsApp stared back at me, every message a punch to the gut. I scrolled, my breath hitching. Text me when you're home, James had written. Just got here. Hubby's suspicious as hell. She'd shot back. Then the kicker. Today was unreal, had you all to myself. Her reply. He's too dumb to catch on. My stomach twisted hard. I kept going, each line worse than the last. The pregnancy? Fake. The miscarriage? A damn act. All of it a con to bleed me dry. ATM? They'd called me. A walking punchline. Fury hit me like a tidal wave, hot and unstoppable. I wanted to yank the blankets off her, scream until my throat gave out, watch her fake tears dry up. But something colder kicked in. Not yet. Not like this. I slid out of bed, bare feet hitting the carpet silent as a ghost, and stumbled into the hallway. The wall caught me as I slumped against it, legs buckling. Her lies replayed in my head, those crocodile tears when she'd said, I'm pregnant, the way she'd played the broken wife after losing the baby. I'd bought it all, every damn bit. The house felt like a graveyard, dark and still. I squeezed my eyes shut, but the words wouldn't stop. ATM. Dumb. My fists clenched tight. I needed air, needed out, but I couldn't just bolt knot without a plan. My hand buzzed in my pocket. Matt. I'd shot him a text earlier, half out of my mind. Need to talk. Now. He was a night owl, always up for a crisis. I dialed, throat dry as hell. He picked up on the first ring. Yo, Rob, what's up, man? Nanette screwing around, I muttered, voice rough. Some asshole named James. The pregnancy. The miscarriage, total bullshit. They're laughing their asses off, Matt. Calling me a damn ATM. A quick pause then. Holy shit, Rob. You serious? You got evidence? Yeah. Screenshots. Sending them now. Get them over here. And don't go losing your shit tonight, all right? We'll sort this mess out. I nodded, even though he couldn't see. I'm crashing at your place tomorrow. Can't stay here. Damn right you are. Swing by whenever. But no dumb moves tonight, got it? Yeah. Thanks, Matt. I hung up, staring at my phone. The shakes on my hands eased up, replaced by something hard and focused. Revenge. I staggered to my feet, grabbed my keys off the kitchen counter, and stepped outside. The night air hit me like a slap, cutting through my t-shirt, but I didn't give a damn. I had to move. The car roared to life, and I peeled out, city lights blurring past. Anger burned steady now, sharpening into purpose. By the time dawn crept up, I was pulling into Matt's driveway in Evanston. His beat-up ranch house looked like a damn beacon, a lifeline in the shitstorm. He yanked the door open, a mug of coffee in hand. You look like crap, he said, shoving it at me. Feel like it, I grumbled, taking a swig. The heat hit me, steadying my nerves. We crashed on his busted leather couch, morning light cutting through the blinds. Still can't believe it, I said, voice hollow. She played me. For months. Matt's stare was hard. No bullshit. We'll get her back, man. Smart, not crazy. You're not in this alone. I nodded, some of the weightlifting. I want a PI, someone to dig up everything. Got a guy. Mikey's shady as hell, but he delivers. I'll set it up tomorrow. I stared into my coffee, steam curling up. I'm ready, I said, low and firm, whatever it takes. Matt clapped my shoulder, grinning. That's my boy. Now crash. You're staying here. I sank into the couch, exhaustion slamming me. But as my eyes closed, it wasn't sleep that could meet was Nanette's face. Frozen when I'd finally confront her. For the first time that night, I smirked. Morning light sliced through Matt's blinds, shadows stretching across the living room. I woke up stiff as hell on the couch, neck screaming from the angle. Coffee smell drifted in, mixing with the faint stink of Matt's old gym bag in the corner. I sat up, rubbing my eyes. Last night hit me like a brick. Nanette's betrayal, the screenshots, Matt's gravelly voice cutting through the haze. I grabbed my phone off the coffee table. No messages. Good. Matt lumbered in, 2 mugs in hand. "Rise and shine, jackass," he said, tossing me one. His hair was a mess, but his eyes were sharp. "Thanks." I took a gulp, the bitterness waking me up. "For everything." He flopped down beside me, chugging his own. "Don't get all mushy on me. You do the same." I set the mug down, nodding. "Let's talk plan." "Hit me," he said, leaning back, legs kicked out. "I need a PI, someone who can dig up everything, texts, calls, where they've been. Proof that'll stick." Matt scratched his jaw. "Got a guy, Mike. He's not exactly legit, but he gets results." "Shady?" I raised an eyebrow. "Like a damn alley at midnight," he smirked. "But he's tight-lipped and good." "Set it up," I said, voice hard. "Today." He pulled out his phone, firing off a text. "Done. His office, 1 hour." I stood, pacing to the window. The street was quiet, a couple kids tearing by on bikes. Normal life. Felt like a damn mirage. "Still can't believe she pulled this," I muttered. Lying to my face. Matt hauled himself up, clapping my back. "She's a snake, Rob, but we'll make her pay." I shot him a look, grateful for the edge in his voice. "Yeah, we will." Mike's office was a dump, stuck in a crumbling building, downtown flickering lights, peeling walls. Matt led the way, boots thumping on the linoleum. He banged on a door labeled Investigations, and a rough voice barked, "Come in." The room was tight, stacked with files and stale coffee cups. Mike sat behind a desk, lean and wiry, 40s with a scruffy jaw and eyes like a hawk. He sized me up as I walked in. "You Robert?" "Yeah." I dropped into the chair across from him, Matt leaning by the door. "Matt says you need dirt on your wife and some punk named James." He leaned forward, elbows on the desk. "What's the deal?" "Everything," I said, jaw tight. "Text, emails, locations. They've been screwing me over for months. Fake pregnancy, fake miscarriage, draining my cash. I want proof." Mike nodded, jotting on a pad. "Got it. What's the end game with this?" "Divorce her. Sue their asses for fraud. Maybe more." My voice dropped. "I want them to hurt." Mike's grin was sharp. "My kind of gig." He glanced at Matt, then me. "I'll get it. Ain't cheap, though." "Don't care," I said. "Just do it." He slid a contract over. "Sign here. And I got a bonus deal, if you're interested." I frowned, scanning it. "What's that?" "If shit gets messy, I can make 'em shut up. For good." His eyes glinted. My pulse kicked up. "I just want justice." "Sure," he said, smirking. "But justice likes a shove sometimes." Matt stepped up, voice steady. "Rob, think it over. This is heavy." I locked eyes with Mike, anger simmering. Nanette's laugh echoed in my head, her text mocking me. "Do it," I said, signing. "Whatever it takes." Mike snatched the paper, stashing it. "Pleasure's mine. I'll start tonight." Back in Matt's car, I stared out the window, city streaking by. Did I just sell my soul? He laughed, shifting gears. "Maybe, but sometimes you need a devil to fight one." I leaned back, eyes shut. Revenge was cold as hell, but it was all I had. I take it. Mike's office lights buzzed like a swarm of pissed-off bees, too harsh for the grimy room. I hunched over his desk, staring at the folder he'd slammed down. Matt propped against the wall, arms crossed, jaw clenched. Mike kicked back in his chair, grinning like he'd won the lottery. "Check it out," he said, nodding at the folder. "All you wanted." I flipped it open, pulse hammering. Photos spilled out. Nanette and James, tangled up in motel beds, laughing in his car, her hand on his leg. Texts with timestamps, call logs, bank records showing cash siphoned from our account to some offshore crap. My gut churned. It was real, airtight. Matt leaned in, peering over my shoulder. Christ, Rob. She's been screwing you 6 ways to Sunday. Yeah. My voice scratched out, and laughing about it. Mike tapped a pen on the desk, grin fading. So, what's the move? You confronting her, or want me to handle it my way? I glanced at Matt. His eyes were steady, but I caught the edge in them. I've gotta face her, I said. She needs to know I'm not her damn fool. Mike shrugged. Your funeral. She won't go down easy-liars like her twist everything. Sure you're up for it? I crushed the photo edges in my fists. Been ready since I saw those messages. Matt gripped my shoulder. Then we're doing it. But keep your head on, all right? Don't let her play you again. I nodded, standing. Tonight, at the house. The drive home blurred past, city lights smearing like wet paint. My hands white-knuckled the wheel. Matt rode shotgun, quiet but solid, a rock in the chaos. We pulled into the driveway, house dark except for the porch light. Nanette's car sat there. She was home. I cut the engine, staring at the door. You don't have to come in, I said. Matt snorted. Screw that, I'm not letting you face that witch solo. We stepped out, night air biting my skin. My boots crunched gravel as we hit the porch. I fumbled the keys, hands shaking not fear, just pure, cold rage. The lock clicked, and I shoved the door open. Nanette was in the kitchen, pouring wine. She jumped, then smiled. Hey, babe, late night, want? Her eyes hit Matt, and the smile cracked. Oh, hey, Matt. Matt gave a tight nod. Nanette. I cut in. We need to talk. Her brow creased, fingers tightening on the bottle. About what? I yanked the folder from my jacket, tossing it on the counter. It landed hard. This. She stared. Then at me, face going pale. What's that? Open it, I said, voice flat and cold. She hesitated, then flipped it open. Her eyes blew wide as she flipped through photos, texts. Rob, this isn't... Shut it, I snapped, stepping close. No more lies. She backed up, hands shaking. It's not what you think. James is just a friend. A friend you're banging? A friend you faked a kid with? A friend you've been robbing me blind with? My voice climbed, sharp as a blade. Nanette's face crumpled, tears spilling. Rob, please, I was scared. I didn't know how to. Scared? I barked a laugh, bitter as hell. Not when you were cackling with him, calling me an ATM. Not when you drained our cash. She shook her head, mascara streaking. I didn't mean it. I was dumb, okay? But I love you. We can fix this. Matt scoffed from the doorway. Fix it? You're delusional. Nanette glared at him. Stay out of this, Matt. This is between me and Rob. Not anymore, I said, low and final. You made it a circus when you stabbed me in the back. Her eyes darted, desperate. Rob, please, give me a shot. I'll ditch James. I'll pay it back. Don't leave me. I stared at her. The woman I'd loved, the liar who'd gutted me. Something snapped. It's done, Nanette. Get out. Tonight. Her sobs broke loose, messy and loud. You can't kick me out. This is my house too. Not anymore, I said, turning away. Pack your crap. Lawyer's sending papers. Matt stepped up, voice like steel. You heard him. Move it. Nanette stumbled back, clutching the counter. You'll regret this, Rob. Big mistake. I didn't look back. Only mistake was trusting you. The kitchen air was heavy, thick with the truth I'd been choking on. I'd called Nanette an hour ago, voice steady but sharp as a razor. We need to talk, I'd said. She'd paused, breath catching, but I didn't let her squirm free. Now. Then I hung up. On the counter sat a manila folder photos, tech, bank statements, all thanks to Mike. A loaded gun, ready to fire. The front door creaked, and her heels clicked in. She stepped into the kitchen, flashing that fake-ass smile she used to dodge trouble. "Hey, babe, what's up?" she said, tossing her keys on the table. Her eyes flicked to the folder, then me, a twitch of panic breaking through. "Sit," I said. She blinked, smile slipping. "Rob, what's this about?" "Sit," I growled. She froze, then sank into a chair, hands locked tight in her lap. I slid the folder across, stopping it dead in front of her. "Open it." Her fingers shook as she lifted the flap. The proof hit her photos of her and James in motel rooms, laughing, kissing. Her face went ghost white. "Rob, this isn't—" "Don't," I cut in, leaning closer. "Don't you dare." She shook her head, tears welling. "It's not what it looks like. James is just—" "Just what?" My laugh was harsh, slicing her words. "The guy you've been screwing? The guy you faked a pregnancy with? The guy you've been stealing from me with?" Her breath hitched, hands flying to her mouth. "Rob, I was scared. I didn't know how." "Scared?" I slammed the counter, a mug crashing to the floor. Shards scattered. "Not when you were laughing with him, calling me an ATM. Not when you drained our accounts." Her sobs erupted, ugly and loud. "I didn't mean it. I was stupid. But I love you. We can fix this." I got in her face, voice low and lethal. "Fix this?" The door banged open. Matt stormed in, dragging James by the collar. James's face was sweaty, eyes wild, darting like a trapped rat. Mike followed, grinning like a shark. Nanette shot up, gasping. "James, what the hell?" James's voice cracked. "Nanette, what's going on?" I stepped between them, fists balled. "You two thought I'd stay your chump. Fake a kid, fake a miscarriage, bleed me dry. Game's up." James threw his hands up. "Rob, I swear it was her idea. She dragged me into—" Nanette lunged, nails raking his face. "You lying bastard. You said it'd work." Mike yanked her back, grunting. Matt shoved James into a chair, barking, "Enough. Both of you, sit your asses down." They sank down, glaring daggers. I paced, fury crackling. "Here's the deal. Nanette, you're signing divorce papers. Tonight, James, you're paying back every dime." James whimpered, "I don't have that kind of cash." "Then figure it out," I snarled, looming over him. "Or Mike makes you wish you had." Mike cracked his knuckles, grin stretching. Nanette's face drained, lips quivering. "Rob, please. We can work it out. I'll do anything." I leaned in, whispering, "Anything? Like lying to my face every day?" She looked away. I straightened, cold as stone. "Sign the papers, Nanette, or I'll make sure your family, friends, your precious Instagram knows what you pulled." Her eyes flashed with terror, voice a whisper. "You wouldn't. Watch me." She stared, hunting for weakness. Found none. With a shaky breath, she grabbed the pen, scrawling her name across the papers. "Fine. I'm done." James slumped, defeated. "What about me?" I nodded to Mike. "Take him out back. We'll talk repayment." Mike hauled James up, dragging him out as he sputtered. Matt watched, then turned to me, voice low. "You good, man?" I exhaled, tension bleeding out. "Yeah, it's over." Nanette finished signing, her name a jagged mess. She looked up, eyes dead. "I did love you, Rob." I didn't answer. Couldn't. Matt grabbed the papers, tone firm. "I'll handle these. Get some rest." I nodded, wiped out. Nanette stood, robotic. "I'll grab a bag. Hotel tonight." "Fine," I said flat. "Don't come back." Her steps faded upstairs, leaving the kitchen quiet. I dropped into a chair, head in my hands. Matt sat beside me, hand on my shoulder. "You did what you had to, Rob." "I know," I mumbled into my palms. "Still sucks." The silence settled, heavy. For the first time in months, I felt clear-pissed. Wrecked but clear. They were gone, and I'd keep going, even if it tasted like ash. The bar buzzed with chatter and clinking glasses, a warm pocket against the February cold. I sat across from Matt at a beat-up table, an IPA sweating in my grip. The neon sign over the counter hummed, throwing blue light across his face. He grinned, lifting his beer. To kicking ass and moving on, Rob. I tapped my bottle against his, the clink sharp. Couldn't have done it without you, I said, taking a pull. The cold bite grounded me after months of hell. He leaned back, boots thudding the floor. Don't go soft on me. You pulled the trigger. I smirked, but it faded quick. Last night clung to me Nanette's crying. James's whining, the paper signed in shaky ink. I'd won, but it didn't feel like winning. My chest ached, a dull burn where the anger used to be. I took another swig, letting the buzz dull it. You good? Matt's voice cut through, eyes narrowing. I shrugged, peeling the label off the bottle. Yeah, just beat. It's done, but it's still there, you know? He nodded, sipping his beer. Takes time, man. You'll shake it off. The bar's noise blurred into the background as I traced the table scratches. A year ago, I'd been clueless Nanette's lies had me hooked. Now, it was ashes. I was free, but what the hell did that mean? The future was a blank slate, no roadmap. Could I build something new, or was I just going to crash again? Then Matt laughed. A rough bark that snapped me out of it. Quit brooding, dude. You're not some damn movie hero. You've got this. I looked up, catching the glint in his eye. A spark flickered in me, small but real. Maybe, I said, a half grin tugging my mouth. Long as you're around to keep me straight. Damn straight. He shot back, clinking bottles again. I took a deep breath, the air tasting of hops and a faint chance. The road ahead was hazy, but for the first time in months, I felt something weak, unsteady, but enough to push forward.